The moment my 6-year-old daughter said, "Mommy says you don't love us anymore because you're always checking her phone," on November 22nd, 2024 at 7:34 p.m. while I was helping her brush her teeth, I realized my wife wasn't just cheating on me, she was turning my own children into weapons. If you've got some time and maybe something to drink, settle in, because what started as a normal suburban marriage in Powell, Ohio, turned into 6 months of gaslighting, surveillance, and the most satisfying Thanksgiving dinner my family has ever had. Well, satisfying for me anyway. So why did I wait 4 months after I knew for certain before I did anything? That's the question everyone asks. And the answer is simple: because I'm an accountant. And accountants don't act on suspicion. We act on documentation. Here's the short version before I get into the details. I had what looked like a perfect life with my wife, Amanda, and our 2 kids. Then she started pulling away. Money started disappearing, and she was never where she said she'd be. When I asked about it, she convinced me I was paranoid, that I was the problem. Turns out I wasn't paranoid. I was paying attention. And once I started really paying attention, I built a case so airtight that when I finally exposed her at Thanksgiving dinner in front of both our families, she couldn't spin her way out of it. What happened after that? Let's just say revenge has consequences for everyone. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up 6 months. March 2024. Life was good, or at least I thought it was. I'm Daniel, 35, senior accountant at a mid-sized firm in Columbus. My wife Amanda was 34, stay-at-home mom, the kind of woman who made everything look effortless. Our house in Powell was the kind you see in those suburban family commercials. 4 bedrooms, 2-car garage, basketball hoop in the driveway. Our daughter Emma had just turned 8, and our son Lucas was 6. Soccer on Saturdays, family dinners most nights, annual trip to Put-in-Bay in the summer. Amanda was room parent for Emma's class, organized play dates, ran the neighborhood book club. Everyone called her the mom everyone wants to be. I worked long hours. Tax season meant I was out the door by 7 a.m., home by 9 p.m. sometimes. The rest of the year was better, home by 7 most nights. Amanda used to joke that she was a single parent during tax season. I laughed it off. She seemed happy. She'd chosen to stay home after Lucas was born, said she wanted to be there for every milestone. I supported it. Hell, I worked overtime to make sure she could. Emma's 8th birthday party in March was perfect. Amanda went full Pinterest, unicorn theme, custom cake, a dozen screaming kids in our backyard. I remember standing by the grill, watching her laugh with the other moms, thinking I'm lucky. Looking back, that might have been the last normal day. April came and small things started shifting. Amanda was on her phone more. Not unusual, everyone's on their phone, but she started putting it face down on the counter. Before, she'd leave it anywhere. Now it was always within reach, always face down. When it buzzed, she'd check it immediately, then put it back down without saying who it was. She started having more meetings. PTA stuff, book club, something new she mentioned in passing called a mom support group for anxiety. Tuesday and Thursday nights, 7 to 9 p.m. I'd handle bedtime with Emma and Lucas while she was gone. When I asked about the group, she'd give vague answers. Oh, just moms talking about stress and boundaries. Okay, sure. Made sense. Being a stay-at-home parent is hard. Our sex life changed too. We'd always been pretty regular, 2-3 times a week. Suddenly, it was once every couple weeks, and she'd say she was too tired or not in the mood. When I tried to initiate, she'd pull away. I'm touched out from the kids all day, she'd say, or can we just cuddle? I tried not to take it personally, but it stung. Then there was the working out. Amanda had always been fit, but in April, she started going to the gym 5 days a week. New workout clothes, expensive stuff from Lululemon. She started wearing makeup to run errands, got her hair done more often. When I complimented her, she'd say, "I'm just taking care of myself for once. Is that a crime?" One night in late April, I mentioned she seemed distant. just gently, like, "Hey, is everything okay between us? You seem stressed." She exploded. "I'm exhausted from raising your children while you work all day and expect me to be some perfect wife. Do you have any idea how hard my job is? No, you don't, because you're never here." I apologized, told her I didn't mean it that way. She cried, said she was overwhelmed, that she needed me to be more supportive, not suspicious. I held her and promised to do better. That was my first mistake, because she'd just done something I'd later learn has a name. DARVO. Deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. But I didn't know that then. I just thought I'd been insensitive. Late April, soccer season started. The kids were on the same rec league team. Lucas in the 6 and under group, Emma volunteering as a team helper because she loved soccer. The coach was this guy named Brandon Hayes. 28, recently divorced, assistant coach who just moved to Powell 6 months ago. The kind of guy who was good with kids, high-fived everyone, made corny jokes. Seemed nice enough. Amanda volunteered to be team mom, brought orange slices to every game, organized the end-of-season party, kept the schedule updated in the team group chat. She mentioned Brandon a few times at dinner. Coach Brandon showed Lucas this new drill. "Brandon says we should work on passing at home." First name basis. I noticed she smiled when she talked about him. At one of the games in early May, I watched her chatting with him by the sidelines. She laughed at something he said, touched his arm. It was brief, casual, the kind of thing you might not even notice. But I noticed. And I felt something twist in my stomach. Then I felt guilty for feeling that twist. What kind of husband suspects his wife of cheating with the soccer coach? That's like a bad TV movie, so I pushed it down. Told myself I was being paranoid. Turns out I wasn't paranoid, I was paying attention. Early May, I was reviewing our finances. Accountant habit, I checked our accounts every week. Joint checking, joint savings, credit cards. I noticed $300 missing from savings. When I asked Amanda about it, she said groceries and gas. Everything's expensive now. Okay, made sense. 2 weeks later, another $400 gone. Soccer cleats for Lucas and the deposit for Emma's summer camp. By the end of May, I'd counted $1,200 in withdrawals. 2, 3, 400 at a time. I asked her about it again. She blew up. "Are you seriously interrogating me about money? I manage this entire household. Do you want me to submit receipts like an employee? Maybe I should clock in and out too. Would that make you happy?" I backed down, apologized again, but this time, before I closed my laptop, I took screenshots of the bank activity, saved them in a folder I titled 2024 Taxes, just in case. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Amanda was asleep next to me, breathing softly. My phone was in my hand. I wanted to check her messages, just a quick look, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. It felt like crossing a line, like admitting I didn't trust her. And if I didn't trust her, what did that say about our marriage? I should have looked. Would have saved me 3 more months of lies. But I didn't, because I still trusted her. Biggest mistake of my life. Mid-May, things got weirder. Amanda's Tuesday and Thursday night support group was now a routine. I'd come home from work, she'd have dinner ready, we'd eat as a family, then she'd leave at 6:45 p.m., back by 9:30 p.m., like clockwork. One Saturday, Emma mentioned something in passing while we were at the park. Mommy's phone rang during our daddy-daughter time last week, and she walked away to talk for a really long time. I'd taken Emma to the playground that previous Saturday afternoon while Amanda was running errands. If someone called her during that time, why would she need to walk away from me to take it? We were at the park with Emma. Who was she talking to that she needed privacy from me? I started wondering about this support group. Was it even real? So I went to the community center website that night after Amanda went to bed. Searched their calendar. No support groups listed on Tuesday or Thursday nights. Called the community center the next day during my lunch break, pretending I was interested in joining a group. The receptionist said, "We don't have any parent support groups running right now. We had one last fall, but the facilitator moved away." That night I asked Amanda about it. casual, over dinner. Hey, is your support group through the community center or somewhere else? I was thinking about looking into groups for work stress. She didn't miss a beat. Oh, it's through the church, not official or anything, just a few moms who meet in one of the Sunday school rooms. We barely went to church, maybe Christmas and Easter. I called the church office the next day, same routine, pretended I was looking for a group. We don't have any support groups on Tuesday or Thursday evenings. The secretary told me, we have a grief support group on Wednesdays, but that's it. So she was lying. The group didn't exist. When I mentioned this to Amanda, gently, I swear, just, hey, I called the church to ask about joining your group, but they said there's no group on Tuesdays. She looked at me like I'd slapped her. Are you tracking me? Do I need to report my every move to you? This is controlling behavior, Daniel. This is how abuse starts. Abuse. She called me abusive for asking where she was. That's when she started involving the kids. That night at dinner, she said to Emma and Lucas in this sad voice, Daddy thinks Mommy doesn't love him anymore. Daddy's just stressed from work. Lucas, 6 years old, looked at me with these big worried eyes. Daddy, do you think Mommy doesn't love you? I didn't know what to say. I just said, nobody. Daddy's fine. Everything's fine. But everything wasn't fine. And a few days later, Emma asked me out of nowhere, why are you always checking on Mommy? It makes her sad. That's when I realized what Amanda was doing. She was reframing the narrative to our kids, making me the villain, making herself the victim. So if I kept asking questions, I'd look like the bad guy to my own children. I felt trapped. I couldn't investigate without seeming paranoid. I couldn't ask questions without being labeled controlling. And I couldn't just ignore it because something was very, very wrong. I called my brother Marcus. He's a software engineer, 3 years older than me, divorced himself, lives in Cleveland. We met for coffee on a Saturday in early June. I told him everything, the missing money, the lies about the support group, the phone face down, the distance, the defensiveness. Marcus didn't even hesitate. She's cheating, man. I'm sorry, but that's textbook. I can't just accuse her. She'll deny it. Flip it on me. She already has the kids thinking I'm the problem. Then you need proof, real proof, the kind she can't spin. How? He leaned in. You're on the same phone plan, right? Family plan? Yeah, Verizon. Check the phone logs, see who she's texting, and turn on location sharing. Tell her it's for safety, for the kids. Find my iPhone, family sharing. That way you can see where she actually is when she says she's at these meetings. It felt wrong, like spying, but Marcus said something that stuck with me. If she's got nothing to hide, the data won't show anything. But if she's lying, you need to know. For your kids, for yourself. So I did it. That Sunday, I logged into our Verizon account, our family plan, pulled up Amanda's phone logs from the past month, and there it was. One number she was texting 80 times a day. Some days over 100. Texts, not calls. Whoever this was, they were her main contact. More than me, more than her mom, more than anyone. The number wasn't saved in her contacts list that synced to the account. Just a 10-digit number. I stared at it for a long time. Then I picked up my work phone and called it. It rang 3 times. Voicemail. Hey, this is Brandon. Leave a message. Brandon. Coach Brandon. My stomach dropped. I sat there in my home office, door closed, hands shaking, 80 texts a day to our kids' soccer coach, the one she'd volunteered to coordinate with, the one she smiled about. I didn't call Marcus back right away. I just sat there. Then I set up Find My iPhone location sharing. We'd always had it enabled for the kids' safety, but I'd never actually used it to check Amanda's location. She wouldn't know I was looking. It was just part of the family account. That Tuesday night, June 4th, Amanda left for support group at 6:45 p.m. I waited until 7:30 p.m., then checked her location on my phone. She wasn't at the church. She wasn't at the community center. She was at the Hampton Inn on Cleveland Road, about 15 minutes from our house. I felt like I was going to throw up. I checked again at 8 p.m., still there. 9 p.m., still there. She walked in the door at 9:25 p.m., smiled, said the group had run late, asked if I'd gotten the kids to bed okay. Thursday night, same thing. A support group at 6:45 p.m. Her phone pinged at the Hampton Inn from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Saturday, she said she was going grocery shopping. 2 p.m. Her phone was at the Hampton Inn from 2:30 to 4:30 p.m. She came home with 2 bags of groceries. I checked the receipt later. She'd spent $11 at Giant Eagle. Barely enough time to grab milk and bread. She'd been gone 2.5 hours for $11 of groceries. I pulled our credit card statements. Hampton Inn, multiple charges, $180, $220. Same hotel, different dates over the past 3 months. She'd used our joint credit card, not even trying to hide it, because why would she? I never checked the statements that closely. She paid the bills. I started documenting everything. I'm an accountant. Documentation is what I do. I created a spreadsheet, date, time, what she told me she was doing, where her phone actually was. I backed it up to the cloud, sent a copy to Marcus. Marcus called me. "You've got enough. Confront her." "No, not yet. If I confront her with this, she'll lie. She'll say the phone data is wrong, or that she was nearby but not at the hotel, or that she was meeting a friend who happened to be staying there. She'll spin it. And then she'll be more careful. I need more." "How much more?" "Enough that she can't talk her way out." For the next 3 weeks, I played along. I smiled. I was nice. I stopped asking questions. I let her think she'd won, that I'd accepted her explanations, that I believed her, and the whole time I was watching. June 28th, Friday night. Amanda told me she was going to her friend Jessica's house for a girls' wine night. Jessica lived on the other side of Powell. Amanda left at 7:30 p.m. I checked her location at 8 p.m., Hampton Inn. I called Marcus. "Can you come watch the kids right now?" "Why?" "I need to see something with my own eyes." He was there in 20 minutes. I drove to the Hampton Inn, parked in the back of the lot where my car wouldn't be obvious. I sat there for 90 minutes, just waiting. I didn't know what I was waiting for. Maybe I was hoping I was wrong. Maybe I wanted her to walk out alone and this would all be some bizarre misunderstanding. At 9:47 p.m., the side door of the hotel opened. Amanda walked out first, then Brandon. His hand was on her lower back. They were laughing. They walked to her car, that silver Honda Odyssey with the stick figure family on the back window. She unlocked it. They stopped by the driver's side door. And then they kissed. Not a peck. Not a friendly hug. A full, passionate kiss. His hands in her hair, her arms around his neck. They kissed for at least 30 seconds, maybe longer. I lost track of time. I took photos. My hands were shaking so hard that half of them came out blurry, but I got a few clear ones. Time stamped, location stamped. They pulled apart, said something to each other. I was too far away to hear. He walked to his Jeep. She got in her minivan. I watched them both drive away. Then I sat in my car in that parking lot and I cried. I'm not a crier. I hadn't cried since my dad had his heart attack 3 years ago. But I sat there in the dark and I broke. 9 years of marriage, 2 kids, a life I thought was real. And it was all a lie. I drove home, took the long route. Amanda's car was already in the driveway when I got there. She was inside, already in her pajamas, washing her face in the bathroom. I walked in. She smiled at me through the mirror. "How was Jessica's?" I asked. "Good. We talked about her divorce. She's having a hard time. I stayed later than I planned." She smelled like hotel soap, that generic, clean scent. Not wine, not Jessica's perfume, hotel soap. I nodded, said I was tired, went to the garage, sat in my car, looked at the photos on my phone, stared at that kiss, and something shifted in me. I wasn't sad anymore. I was angry. The next morning was Saturday. Soccer game, Lucas's team versus the Dynamos. I stood on the sidelines and watched Brandon coach my son. Watched him high-five Lucas, ruffle his hair, shout encouragement. Watched Amanda on the other sideline, chatting with the other moms, handing out orange slices at halftime. Everyone telling her, "You're such a great mom," and "How do you do it all?" I wanted to scream. I wanted to grab the megaphone and tell everyone what I knew, but I didn't. I smiled. I clapped when Lucas scored. I helped pack up the goals after the game. Shook Brandon's hand when he said, "Great game today. Lucas is really improving." "Thanks, Coach. Appreciate everything you do." At home, Amanda asked if I was okay. Said I seemed quiet. I almost broke right there. Almost threw everything at her. But then Lucas ran in. "Daddy, can we build Legos?" And I realized if I exploded now, she'd make me the villain. She'd take the kids and leave. She'd tell everyone I'd had a breakdown, that I was unstable. I'd lose them. So I said, "I'm fine, just tired." That Sunday, I stood in the bathroom looking at myself in the mirror. I looked older, tired, beaten. I'd spent 9 years being the nice guy, the understanding husband, the one who never made waves, the one who apologized when she yelled, who believed her when she lied, who worked 60-hour weeks so she could stay home and be the perfect mom while she was screwing the soccer coach. That's when I decided I wasn't going to confront her. I was going to destroy her carefully constructed little world, methodically, completely. And I was going to make sure everyone watched, because she'd called me paranoid. She called me controlling. She'd turned my kids against me. She'd stolen our money to pay for hotel rooms. And she'd done it all while playing the victim. I wasn't the victim anymore. And she was about to find out what happens when you back an accountant into a corner. We're very good with documentation. The first thing I did was call a divorce attorney. Not to file, not yet. Just a consultation. I needed to know what I was dealing with legally. The attorney's name was Patricia Chen. Mid-40s, sharp, came highly recommended by Marcus's divorce attorney. I sat in her office that Monday during my lunch break and laid it all out. The affair, the evidence, the kids, the money. She listened, took notes, then said, "Ohio is a no-fault divorce state, which means the affair itself won't matter much in the divorce proceedings. But the financial infidelity, using marital funds for the affair, that matters. And the fact that she's been manipulating the children, using them as emotional shields, that matters for custody. What are my chances of getting primary custody?" She gave me a look. "I'll be honest with you, Daniel. Courts in Ohio still have a bias toward mothers, especially for young children. If you want primary custody, you need overwhelming evidence that she's an unfit parent. Not just that she had an affair. You need to prove she's harming the children emotionally. She's turning them against me, making them think I'm the bad guy. Can you prove that?" I thought about it. I can document what they've said to me, but it's my word against hers. Then you need more. Witnesses, experts, a pattern of behavior, and you need to protect your finances right now. Open a separate account, redirect part of your paycheck. Make sure she can't drain everything before you file. I did all of it. That week I opened an account at a different bank, started directing half my paycheck there, changed the passwords on all our important accounts, retirement, investments, insurance, backed up everything to the cloud and sent copies to Marcus. And I made my spreadsheet more detailed. Every lie, every location discrepancy, every dollar. I had dates, times, screenshots, receipts, 4 months of data. But data wasn't enough. I needed witnesses. At the next soccer game, I struck up a conversation with Rachel, one of the other soccer moms. Her son Ethan was on Lucas's team. She was going through her own divorce, always seemed sympathetic when parents complained about their spouses. We were standing by the snack table and I said casual, "Hey, can I ask you something? Amanda's been really stressed lately. Has she mentioned anything to you? I'm worried about her." Rachel gave me this look, like she was deciding whether to say something. Finally, "Daniel, I don't want to overstep, but Have you noticed how much time Amanda spends talking to Coach Brandon? My heart started pounding. What do you mean? I've seen them together at Starbucks on Cleveland Road multiple times. They seemed close. I played dumb. Close how? Like more than friends close. Look, I could be wrong, but if I were you, I'd pay attention. I asked her if she'd be willing to document what she'd seen. She hesitated, then said, "If you need me to, yeah, I've been cheated on. I know what it feels like." Over the next 2 weeks, Rachel recruited 2 other soccer moms, Jennifer and Carla. They started paying attention too. On July 20th, Rachel texted me a photo. Amanda and Brandon at that same Starbucks, sitting in a corner booth. Their hands were under the table, but you could see from the angle they were holding hands. I also befriended the front desk guy at the Hampton Inn. Went in one evening, said I was trying to plan a surprise anniversary for my wife, asked if he could tell me what rooms were nicest. Slipped him $50, asked casual. By the way, my wife Amanda Mitchell, she's been here for some meetings. Has she mentioned what room she prefers? The guy looked uncomfortable. Sir, I'm not supposed to... Another 50. I'm not asking you to break any rules. I just want to make sure she's comfortable when I book. He sighed. Tuesday and Thursday evenings, she and the younger guy, they're usually here 7 to 10, check in to room 237 most times. I thanked him, gave him my number, told him if I ever needed documentation, I'd make it worth his while. By early August, I had everything. Location data, bank records, photos, witnesses, hotel records, a timeline that went back 4 months, an airtight case. But I still hadn't confronted her. Marcus thought I was losing it. Dude, what are you waiting for? You got everything you need. Just serve her the papers and be done with it. I'm not ready yet. Ready for what? To make sure everyone knows. See, here's the thing. If I just filed for divorce quietly, Amanda would control the narrative. She'd tell everyone I'd been neglectful, that we'd grown apart, that she'd tried to save the marriage, but I'd given up. She'd play the victim. And people would believe her because she was good at playing the victim. I wanted everyone to know the truth. Her parents, my parents, the neighbors, the soccer moms, the PTA, everyone who thought she was this perfect, devoted mother who'd sacrificed so much. I wanted them to see her for what she really was. So I kept playing along. July turned into August, turned into September. I pretended everything was fine. I was warmer to Amanda, more affectionate. I initiated sex a few times. She seemed surprised, but went along with it. I stopped questioning where she was, stopped checking her phone. She relaxed, started smiling more. The affair continued. I tracked every instance but said nothing. Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, the occasional Saturday afternoon errand. At night, when she was asleep, I'd add to my evidence file. During the day, I'd smile and play the good husband. Marcus said I was being obsessive, that this wasn't healthy. But I wasn't being obsessive. I was being patient. And patient men are dangerous. Late September, I made my decision, Thanksgiving. Why Thanksgiving? Because it was Amanda's favorite holiday. She loved hosting, loved cooking the perfect turkey, setting the perfect table, playing the perfect wife and mother in front of our families. It was her stage, her performance, and I was going to burn it down. I told her in early October, let's host Thanksgiving this year. Both families. Really make it special. Her face lit up. Really? You want to? Yeah, I think it'd be nice. We haven't hosted in a few years. The kids would love it. She threw her arms around me. That's such a great idea. I'll make it amazing. And she did. She spent weeks planning, menu, decorations, seating chart. She was in her element. I spent those weeks organizing my evidence into a folder. Printed everything, location data maps showing her phone at the hotel with timestamps, bank statements with the hotel charges highlighted, photos from the parking lot, witness statements from Rachel and the other moms, a timeline that laid out every lie, every alibi, every dollar. The folder was 2 inches thick. I labeled it Thanksgiving Documents and left it in my car. Thanksgiving Day, November 28th, 2024. My parents arrived first, Tom and Linda, mid-60s, retired. Then Amanda's parents, Richard and Patricia, early 60s, uptight, very concerned with appearances. Amanda's sister, Stephanie, came with her husband. Marcus came alone. Amanda was in full hostess mode. She'd been up since 6 a.m. cooking. The house smelled incredible. Turkey, stuffing, pumpkin pie. She wore a burgundy dress, had her hair done, makeup perfect, greeting everyone at the door with hugs and smiles. The kids were upstairs playing video games with their cousins. Marcus had agreed to keep them up there until I gave him the signal. We sat down to eat at 4 p.m. The dining room table extended to fit everyone. Amanda at one end, me at the other, her parents to her right, mine to her left. Stephanie and her husband across from Marcus. The meal was perfect. Everyone complimented Amanda. "This turkey is incredible. Amanda, you've outdone yourself. You're amazing." She glowed. This was her moment. Dessert came out, 3 pumpkin pies, fresh whipped cream. Everyone was full, relaxed, happy. Small talk about football, about Christmas plans, about the kids' school. I waited until everyone had a slice of pie in front of them. Then I stood up, tapped my glass with my fork. "I want to say something before we all dig in." Amanda smiled at me, that perfect practice smile. "Oh, Daniel, you don't have to." "I'm grateful for a lot this year, grateful for my kids, grateful for my health, grateful for clarity." Her smile faltered, just a little. "See, I spent the last 6 months confused. My wife was distant. Money kept disappearing from our accounts. She was going to meetings that didn't exist. And when I asked about any of it, she told me I was paranoid, controlling, that I needed therapy." The table went quiet. Amanda's face went white. "Daniel," she said slowly, "what are you doing?" I reached down, picked up the folder I'd placed on the chair next to me. "I'm not paranoid, Amanda. I was paying attention." I opened the folder, pulled out the first set of documents. These are phone location records showing that every Tuesday and Thursday mom support group meeting was actually you at the Hampton Inn on Cleveland Road for 4 months. I handed them to her father, Richard. He took them, looked down, started reading. I pulled out bank statements. "This is $3,847 in withdrawals and charges from our joint accounts, hotel rooms, dinners, a weekend getaway to Cleveland in August." I passed them around the table. Amanda's mother, Patricia, picked one up, her hands shaking. "Daniel, you've lost your mind. These are text message logs from our Verizon account. You texted Brandon Hayes, our kid's soccer coach, 80 to 100 times per day for 4 months. More than you texted me. More than you texted your own mother." Stephanie stared at the paper in front of her. "Amanda..." "And these," I said, pulling out the photos, "are pictures of you and Brandon leaving the Hampton Inn on June 28th at 9:47 p.m. That night, you told me you were at Jessica's house for wine." I laid the photo on the table where everyone could see. Amanda and Brandon by her car. The kiss. Silence. Complete silence. Amanda stood up, her chair scraping against the floor. She was shaking. "You've been spying on me. You violated my privacy. This is abuse." "You know what's abuse, Amanda?" My voice was steady, calm. I'd practiced this. "Turning our kids into weapons. Telling Emma that Daddy doesn't trust Mommy. Making Lucas think I'm the bad guy for wanting to know where you are. Using our children to cover your affair. That's abuse." Her mother was crying now. "Amanda, please tell me this isn't true." It's not, you don't understand." "I have witnesses," I said. I looked at the doorway. "Rachel?" Rachel walked in from the kitchen where she'd been waiting. She looked at Amanda, then at the table. "I saw Amanda and Brandon at Starbucks multiple times. They were holding hands. I have photos." She showed her phone to Richard. "Jessica?" I called. Amanda's friend Jessica, the one she'd supposedly been visiting that night in June, walked in. Amanda wasn't at my house on June 28th. She texted me asking me to cover for her if Daniel called. I said no. She went anyway. Amanda's legs gave out. She sat back down hard. You set me up. You planned this. No, I said. You did this. I just documented it. I looked at her parents. I filed for divorce 2 weeks ago. Amanda will be served papers on Monday. I'm asking for primary custody of Emma and Lucas. Based on the evidence of financial infidelity and emotional manipulation of the children, my attorney believes we have a strong case. Richard was staring at the documents in front of him. His face was red. Amanda, is this true? She couldn't speak, just sat there, tears streaming down her face. Patricia turned to me. How could you do this? How could you humiliate her like this in front of everyone? How could I? I looked at Amanda. I gave you 9 years. I worked 60-hour weeks so you could stay home. I supported every decision you made, and you repaid me by sleeping with a 28-year-old soccer coach, stealing our money, and gaslighting me until I thought I was crazy. You used our children as shields. You made them think I was the problem. And you didn't care what it did to them as long as you got what you wanted. I looked around the table. So yeah, I documented it. I built a case. And I chose today to tell all of you because this is the day Amanda loves to perform. The day she gets to be the perfect wife, the perfect mother, the perfect daughter. Well, the performance is over. Amanda stood again, stumbled toward the stairs. I need to. She ran upstairs, locked herself in our bedroom. I heard the door slam. Her mother and sister followed her. Patricia glared at me as she passed. You're cruel. I sat back down. My hands were shaking now, adrenaline crashing. My mother reached over and squeezed my hand. My dad was silent, looking at the documents. Marcus gripped my shoulder. You did what you had to do. But I felt hollow, empty, like I'd just detonated a bomb, and now I was standing in the crater. Richard stood up, his face still red. We need to go. He looked at me. You humiliated our daughter. She humiliated herself. They left within 30 minutes, took Amanda with them. She came downstairs with red puffy eyes, didn't look at anyone, got in the car with her parents. The kids came down asking what happened. Emma saw the papers on the table. What's all this? I gathered them up quickly. Grown-up stuff, sweetie. Nothing for you to worry about. That night, after everyone left, after I got the kids to bed, I sat in the dark living room surrounded by the remains of Thanksgiving dinner. It was done. In 10 minutes, I'd destroyed the perfect life she'd spent 9 years building, and I felt nothing. Just empty. The next few weeks were chaos. Amanda stayed at her parents' house. Wouldn't talk to me except through her attorney. Her attorney sent me angry emails about how I'd orchestrated a public humiliation and psychologically tortured his client. My attorney responded with copies of all the evidence and a polite, "Your client committed adultery and financial fraud." The kids were confused. Emma kept asking when Mommy was coming home. Lucas started having nightmares. I scheduled them both for therapy immediately. The story spread through our neighborhood like wildfire. Rachel told the other soccer moms. They told their friends. Within a week, everyone in Powell knew. Amanda's perfect reputation crumbled overnight. The PTA group chat kicked her out. Her book club disbanded. The women who'd been her friends stopped answering her calls. At the next soccer game, the last one of the season, early December, she showed up to watch Lucas. She stood alone on the sidelines. The other parents didn't talk to her, didn't even make eye contact. Coach Brandon resigned the day after Thanksgiving. The league board had an emergency meeting. Parents demanded he be removed. He sent a mass email. Due to personal matters, I'm stepping down effective immediately. He moved to Michigan 2 weeks later. His ex-wife, who'd suspected something during their marriage, filed a motion to modify their custody arrangement. She got primary custody of their daughter. Brandon got supervised visits. Amanda tried to rebuild, called old friends, reached out to her sister, but Stephanie was furious. How could you do that to Daniel? To the kids? I can't believe you. Even Amanda's parents, who defended her at first, started pulling away. I overheard her dad on the phone when I dropped the kids off for their first visit with Amanda at her parents' house. You threw away your family for what? Some guy half your age? What were you thinking? The divorce proceedings moved fast. Her attorney tried to fight for alimony, for half the assets, for equal custody. My attorney presented the evidence: financial infidelity, inappropriate use of marital funds, emotional manipulation of children. The judge ordered a custody evaluation. Both of us had to meet with a psychologist, do home visits, interviews. I brought the evidence showing how she'd used the kids to gaslight me. The evaluator noted in her report, mother shows concerning pattern of avoiding accountability and deflecting blame. Father demonstrates appropriate boundaries and child-focused decision-making. In January, we got the temporary custody order, kids primarily with me. Amanda gets supervised visits every other weekend. She'd have to complete a co-parenting class and individual therapy before unsupervised visits would be considered. Amanda fell apart, had to move in with her parents permanently because she couldn't afford her own place. She'd been out of the workforce for 9 years, had no income. Her dad got her a part-time job at a boutique he knew, minimum wage. Everything I'd built happened exactly like I'd planned, but there was collateral damage. Mid-December, I got a call from Emma's school. Emma had a breakdown in class. The teacher found her crying in the bathroom. The school counselor talked to her. Emma told her, "My family is broken, and it's all Mommy's fault, but I miss her." Lucas started wetting the bed again. He hadn't done that since he was 3. The therapist said it was normal that kids go through regression during divorce, that they'd adjust. But watching my kids hurt, that wasn't part of the plan. One night in late December, Emma asked me, "Daddy, why did you have to tell everyone at Thanksgiving? Why couldn't you just tell Mommy privately?" I didn't have a good answer. I said, "I was very hurt, sweetie. I made some choices I'm not proud of." "Did Mommy really do all those bad things?" "Yes, she did. But she's still our mom." "She is, and she'll always be your mom. That doesn't change." Emma cried. I held her, and I felt like the worst father in the world. My own mom, who'd supported me through everything, said something that stuck with me. "You were right to leave her, Daniel, but maybe the Thanksgiving thing, that was for you, not for the kids." I sat alone that night looking at photos from last Christmas. Emma and Lucas in matching pajamas, opening presents, huge smiles. Then I looked at them now, sad, withdrawn, in therapy. I'd wanted Amanda to pay, and she did. But so did Emma and Lucas, and that I didn't plan for. The first family therapy session was brutal. The therapist, Dr. Morrison, a woman in her 50s with kind eyes, had all 4 of us there. Me, Amanda, Emma, Lucas. Lucas said, "I wish none of this happened. I wish we could go back." Emma said, "I miss when we were a family." Amanda and I looked at each other for the first time since Thanksgiving. She looked smaller somehow, broken. Dr. Morrison said, "You can't go back, but you can go forward. And the most important thing is that both of you show Emma and Lucas that even though you're not together, you can still co-parent peacefully." It took months. January through March was hell. Every custody exchange was tense. Amanda would cry. I'd be cold. The kids would be quiet in the car. But slowly, forced by court-ordered co-parenting classes, we learned to be civil. In late February, during a custody exchange in a parking lot, Amanda said, "I'm sorry." I looked at her. "For what?" "For involving Emma and Lucas. That was wrong. I should never have done that." It wasn't an apology for the affair. It wasn't an apology for stealing, but it was something. "Yeah," I said, "it was wrong." "I'm in therapy now, court-ordered, but it's helping. I'm realizing a lot of things I didn't want to see." "Good. The kids need you to be healthy." She nodded. wiped her eyes. Can we agree on something? No more bad-mouthing each other to them. No matter what happened between us, they don't need to hear it from either of us. Agreed. It wasn't forgiveness, it wasn't friendship, but it was functional. The kids got better. Emma stopped crying every night. Lucas stopped wetting the bed. By April, they seemed more settled. 2 houses, 2 bedrooms, a new normal. March was Emma's 9th birthday. I hosted a party at my place. Amanda asked if she could come, just for an hour, to see Emma blow out candles. I said yes. She came, stayed in the background, sang happy birthday, left quietly after cake. Emma hugged her before she left. Thanks for coming, Mommy. I wouldn't miss it, baby. It was the first time I saw Amanda look genuinely maternal in months. I started to rebuild my own life too. I'd been so focused on revenge, on evidence, on destroying Amanda, that I'd forgotten what it felt like to just live. I joined a divorced dad support group, met guys with similar stories, infidelity, betrayal, custody battles. We'd meet Wednesday nights at a church basement, drink bad coffee, and talk. It helped more than I expected, knowing I wasn't alone, knowing other men had survived this. I reconnected with old friends I'd neglected during the marriage, started going to the gym again, got back into reading, small things, normal things. In April, I went to a bookstore on a Saturday while the kids were at Amanda's. I was browsing the mystery section when I bumped into someone reaching for the same book. Sorry, you can... No, you take it, I was just... We both stopped, laughed. Her name was Claire. 37, worked in marketing, divorced 3 years ago, no kids. We talked for 20 minutes about the book, then about other books, then about life. She had this easy laugh, no drama, no agenda. I asked if she wanted to get coffee sometime. She said yes, we took it slow. Coffee dates, dinner, walks, no pressure, no expectations. Just 2 people who'd been through hard things, trying to figure out what came next. I didn't introduce her to Emma and Lucas. My therapist said wait at least 6 months before introducing a new partner to the kids. They needed stability, but Claire was good for me. She reminded me that not everyone lies. Not everyone manipulates. Some people are just honest. Work got better too. I'd been so distracted during the affair and divorce that I'd barely been functioning. But by spring, I threw myself back in. Got a promotion in May, senior manager, better pay, better hours. Amanda would have wanted me to turn it down because it meant more responsibility. But this was my life now, my choices. In June, a year after I'd first discovered the affair, I took Emma and Lucas camping, just the 3 of us, Hocking Hills State Park, 2 hours south. We hiked, roasted marshmallows, told stories around the fire. Lucas looked up at me, face sticky with chocolate. Dad, this is fun. Can we do this every year? Absolutely, buddy. Emma leaned against my shoulder. I like this. Just us. My life was smaller now. No big house full of Amanda's Pinterest decorations. No performative family dinners. No pretending. But it was real. It was mine. And honestly, that was enough. I saw Amanda sometimes at school events, at soccer games. We'd nod, keep our distance. The kids were doing better with the arrangement. They'd stopped asking when we were getting back together. In August, I heard through mutual acquaintances that Amanda had started dating someone, a guy she met at the boutique where she worked. Older, divorced, quiet, nothing like Brandon. Good for her, I guess. I was with Claire now, still taking it slow, but she'd met the kids in July. They liked her. She wasn't trying to be their mom, just someone nice who made their dad happy. September 2025, almost a full year since Thanksgiving. Lucas had his first game of the new soccer season. I was the coach now. I'd volunteered when the league was looking for someone to replace Brandon. Full circle. Claire was there, cheering from the sidelines. Emma was helping as my assistant. Amanda was on the opposite side of the field with her boyfriend. We made eye contact across the field. She gave me a small nod. I nodded back. Not friendly, but not hostile. The game started. Lucas scored a goal. Both sides cheered, and I thought, this is where I am now. Divorced, co-parenting, dating someone new, coaching soccer, living a smaller, quieter life. People always ask if I regret it. The answer's complicated. Do I regret leaving Amanda? No. The marriage was over the moment she chose to lie, to cheat, to manipulate our kids. I don't regret protecting myself. Do I regret how I did it? Yeah. The Thanksgiving thing, the public spectacle, that was for me. That was my anger, my need for everyone to see what she'd done. But Emma and Lucas paid for that too. They didn't need to be anywhere near that explosion. I could have handled it privately, filed for divorce, presented the evidence to the court, let the system work. But I wanted her humiliated. I wanted her perfect image destroyed. And she was. And it was. But hurt people, and I hurt my kids in the process of hurting her. I'm working on it. Therapy every other week. Learning to recognize when I'm acting from anger versus from logic. Learning that revenge feels good in the moment, but leaves scars on everyone, including you. Would I do it differently if I could go back? Probably, but I can't. So all I can do is move forward. Emma and Lucas are resilient. They're going to be okay. They have two parents who are trying, really trying, to put them first now. And me? I'm learning what it means to be present, to be honest, to set boundaries without being cruel, to pay attention without being paranoid. Because here's what I learned. I wasn't paranoid. I was paying attention. But there's a difference between paying attention and letting someone else's betrayal consume you. I paid attention, I documented, I got out, and yeah, I got revenge. But revenge isn't free. Someone always pays the interest. In my case, it was my kid's innocence. And that's something I'll carry forever. So if you're going through something similar, if your gut is telling you something's wrong, if the person you love is making you feel crazy, pay attention, trust yourself, document, get out. But when you do, think about who else gets hurt in the blast radius, because once you light that fuse, you can't unlight it. I'm standing at a soccer field on a Saturday morning in September 2025, watching my son play, with a woman who makes me laugh and two kids who are learning to be okay. My life isn't perfect. It's not Pinterest worthy. There's no stick figure family on my car anymore, but it's real. It's honest. And I can sleep at night. And that's more than I could say a year ago. So, yeah. I set a trap. I used location data and witnesses. I destroyed her at Thanksgiving dinner. And I do the investigation part again. The documentation, the getting out. But the public execution, that's the part I'm still working through. Because the truth is, I won. The divorce went my way. I got custody. She lost her reputation. Everything I planned for it happened. But winning didn't feel the way I thought it would. It just felt like everyone lost something. And maybe that's the real lesson. When you've been betrayed, when you've been gaslit and manipulated and lied to, the instinct is to burn everything down, to make them pay, to make everyone see. But in the end, the only person who has to see is you. And I saw, I knew, I documented it, and I left. The rest, the spectacle, the audience, the public reckoning, that was just noise. The real victory was walking away with my kids, with my sanity, with my self-respect. Everything else was just revenge. And revenge is expensive. I'm still paying for it. So are Emma and Lucas. But we're going to be okay. All of us. Even Amanda, eventually. Because life goes on. Different, smaller, more honest. And sometimes that's exactly what you need.